Welcome to our September 23rd board meeting. Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Supervisor Wareheim,
Here.
Councilman McCarthy,
Here.
Councilwoman Noack,
Here.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Here.
Councilman Lohman. On mute, Mr. Councilman.
He's muted.
I'm here.
Okay,
Okay, before we begin, I want to read this message so everyone understands moving forward where we're going with our board meetings. After receiving clarification on the governor's executive order pertaining to public meetings, it has been decided that we will again be going back to live meetings. Today will be our last virtual meeting unless something should change with regards to state guidelines. You will still be able to watch the meetings via live stream. If anyone does not feel safe coming to in-person meetings and wishes to get something on the record during the public portion, you may simply email the town clerk prior to the board meeting and we will read your notes into the record. So beginning at our next meeting, we will be live and also live streamed. Okay, we'll move to the agenda.
Okay, we're going to start with correspondence. We have a building department report from August. The Hauppauge School's homecoming parade, Saturday, October 2nd, from 3:30 to 4:30. Nisququag River State Park Foundation 5K Turkey Trot on Thursday, November 25th, from 9 to 10. Sergeant John W. Cook VFW Veterans Day Parade, Thursday, November 11th, from 10 until 12. And the last one is the Smithtown Kickers Soccer Club 5K Turkey Trot on Thursday, November 25th, from 8 until 12. The next on the agenda, we have two public hearings. The first public hearing is to consider a special exception petition 2021-01 as submitted by Smithtown Venture for a modification of a special exemption use in order to permit a game center in a shopping center. Michael Biancanella from Bowler Engineering is representing the applicant and will describe the petition. Michael?
Good afternoon, everyone. As the town clerk said, my name is Mike Biancanella from Bowler Engineering. We're representing Smithtown Venture LLC and the proposed use X-Golf. I have our site plan up that I can share. The proposed use will be a 11,050 square foot X-Golf, including a 1,175 square foot mezzanine. The proposed X-Golf will have 9 golf bays, a bar, and seats available for dining and corporate events. The use is classified as a game center, which requires a special exemption due to the zone being shopping center business zone. Additionally, the increase in space for the mezzanine will result in an increase in the required parking stalls, which is noted on our site plan. At this time, a application with the ZBA has not been filed, but will be shortly to have that variance granted. The only on-site work we will be doing is for the installation of a sanitary system, which has been submitted to the health department for their review and approval. This time, I'm willing to answer any questions the town board members or residents may have regarding the subject use and application.
Yeah, Michael, I'm trying to figure out where this is.
It is
says west of Sunken Meadow Parkway?
Yes, Sunken Meadow Parkway is right here. This is the on-ramp for southbound traffic.
Okay, and where's Veterans Highway?
Where Vets Highway and Sunken Meadow, Vets Highway and Jericho Turnpike merge is right here, off screen.
I can't follow that dot.
Councilwoman, it's the large shopping center where Hobby Lobby, Target.
Okay.
Yes, so this is the Target, this is the Whole Foods, there's a Miller's
Okay.
here.
It's gonna be in the shopping center or nearby?
It's in the shopping center. It's part of the strip center right here.
It's taking
Okay.
over Best Market?
It's taking over a vacant space now. I have elevation showing where it is going to be between the doors for Harbor Freight and, it's between Harbor Freight and Five Below.
Okay,
And there's a long entry corridor here to the main area located in the back.
oh, okay, okay. See, Peter knew exactly how I can relate.
Trying to make it easy.
Thank you.
Any other questions by the board? Nicole, do we have anyone that wishes to be heard on this public hearing?
No, but actually, I'll just take this minute to reiterate, if the folks do want to speak or be heard, to either raise their hand or use the chat function. If you open up the chat function, there are instructions there for you to raise your hand or to include your name to speak. But Supervisor, no, I have no hands raised. I have nobody in the chat asking to be heard on this application.
Okay, that being the case, I will move to close this hearing.
Second,
Supervisor Wareheim,
Yes,
Councilman McCarthy,
yes.
Councilwoman Noah,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
thank you, Michael.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the second public hearing is for the town board to consider adding chapter 320 to the town code entitled Local Opt-out pursuant to chapter 131 of the New York State Cannabis Law. Janice Hanson, Assistant Town Attorney, is here to do the presentation.
Good afternoon, Supervisor, members of the Town Board. Once again, I'm Janice Hanson. The purpose of this hearing is for the board to consider adopting a local opt-out pursuant to Section 131 of the New York Marijuana Regulation and Tax Act. Adopting the local opt-out preserves the town's ability to prohibit the establishment of cannabis dispensaries and on-site consumption sites for marijuana going forward. Unless there are any questions, that concludes my presentation.
Nope, not for me.
Thank you, Janice.
Any questions by the board?
No,
Thank you, Janice.
Nicole, I think we have some people to comment.
We do. I know Assemblyman Brown had filled out a request to speak. I don't see him here just yet. If he comes in, I will let him in. I'm gonna call on the first person in the meantime. I'm
Okay,
gonna
be
call
mind-
on,
Be mindful, we have 3 minutes for comments.
okay, so I'm just gonna call on Troy Smith first.
Hi, thank you, Supervisor and Council members. I'm just turning on my video. Hi, my name is Troy Smith. I'm a resident of St. James and also the Deputy Director of Empire State NORML. Empire State NORML is the New York State chapter of the National Organization for Reform Marijuana Laws. We are one of the groups that have been advocating for the past decade for the passage of the MRTA. And I'm here today to share with you some thoughts that I have about our local town opting out. First off, we have to recognize that the state has duly authorized and legalized cannabis use. There's nothing you can do about that. However, what they did give towns, villages, and cities the authority to do is opt out of the retail sale and on-site consumption business licenses. Now, what does that really mean, right? Because let's be honest, cannabis has been bought and sold in Smithtown since before any of you were elected. It is probably one of the most popular recreational drugs in the area, and opting out, in reality, you can't ban the use. So you can't ban possession. So what you're doing is you're opting out of regulated and taxed sales. You're opting out of safety measures the state is looking to put in place. You're opting out of IDing children before purchasing. and you are opting out of any sort of quality control measures that are set to be put in place. So I just want you to think long and hard about what opting out really means before you actually go ahead and do it. This is a very important issue. We stand to raise a lot of tax revenue just from the regulated sale and tax sale of cannabis. That's not even including the effect it's going to have on our local economy in regards to auxiliary businesses that may be supporting the cannabis industry, construction businesses, plumbers, electricians, technology companies, security companies, banks, mortgage companies. The list goes on and on. This, if successfully implemented, this could be a huge boost to our legal economy in Smithtown. I want to, again, remind you that no matter what you do, cannabis is always going to be bought and sold right here. So keep that in mind. Thank you.
3 minutes is up.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, Nicole.
Okay, I'm gonna call on Ben Scher.
Hello, and thank you for taking the time to hear us out. My name is Ben Scher. I'm a current resident of Comac, waiting to close on a house in Kings Park, hopefully any day now. And, you know, a lot of what Troy said, I think, is pretty much exactly covering what I was here to emphasize. I'm just a software engineer based out of Melville. I don't really have, you know, as much political knowledge as he seems to. But, you know, the big concern I have with the town of Smithtown opting out is that ultimately what we're going to be doing here is sending citizens who would otherwise be looking to consume this safely, locally, you know, under the expectation they'd be able to get it easily. And we're just going to be forcing them to go elsewhere because, you know, the reality is, like Troy was getting at, there's access to it now. And not every town in Long Island is going to be opted out, or at minimum, you know, Queens is going to have it available for us. So all we're really doing is inconveniencing people who are ultimately just going to go outside of the town to be able to acquire this. The town loses out on the tax revenue. And at the end of the day, I just don't really feel like we make the town safer, or, you know, I basically just don't see much of advantage whatsoever in opting out of this, except for perhaps some, you know, twisted morality. And there wasn't really much of a case that was brought up here as to why the town is opting out, at least not as far as I saw. I had a little difficulty getting into the Zoom here. But so yeah, at the end of the day, I just don't want us to be doing anything here that harms law-abiding citizens and just continues to keep up some, I don't know, really antiquated views on the consumption of this product and how people are able to obtain it. And I think I've said my piece. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker.
Supervisor, Assemblyman Brown is having some technical difficulties. He just called here. He said give him another minute to jump onto Zoom.
Sure, no problem.
I do not have anyone else's hands raised. I don't know if this is an opportunity to answer any questions or clarify any information. Like this is a hearing where nobody's making any decisions today, correct?
That's correct. This is a public hearing on the proposed law. We will hear the public, and at a future date, the town board will convene and vote on a decision.
Okay. We're just waiting for Assemblyman Brown to jump on.
Okay, we can give it a minute. I don't wanna leave the hearing open.
I do have, I'm sorry, Patty Stoddard just raised her hand. I'll ask her to unmute herself. There you go.
Hi, everyone. I'm Patty Stoddard, and I have a question. I'm just wondering if you ever came up with any numbers of how much revenue, we could gain from this. It's not going to prevent use or anything. It's just as you go next door and you can purchase it. And I think we would be losing out a lot on revenues. And also, I agree with everything that Troy and Ben said about the other issue is quality control, which is really important because a lot of the, drugs that, people are buying are, contain fentanyl, they're getting sick and dying, and you can find it marijuana on the street too. So it would be a safety issue. So I'm just, those are my thoughts. They're going to do it anyway. It's not going to stop anything. And like, Troy and Ben said, it would be a benefit financially to us and, more of a convenience. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You see, we have Assemblyman Brown here.
Yeah, he just jumped on. Give him a second to unmute himself.
Here we are. Sorry about that. I had it down for 6 p.m. tonight. So, good afternoon, Supervisor Wareheim and members of the town board. Appreciate the opportunity to speak before you today. I'm appearing before you today in my capacity as New York State Assemblyman for the 12th Assembly District, but I'm also the ranking Assembly member on the Committee of Alcoholism and Substance Abuse, and I'm also a member of the Northport Drug and Alcohol Task Force. So I want to take the opportunity to discuss with all of you the looming deadline and requirements in order to opt out of the recently enacted Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act, or what we refer to as the MRTA. The MRTA authorizes the opening of retail recreational cannabis dispensaries and on-site consumption licenses within the town's boundaries, unless the town opts out. I'm not here to debate the new law. The law was passed by the legislature last session and signed into law by the governor, and it's the law of the state. However, and most importantly, the MRTA permits cities, towns, and villages to prohibit the issuance of either or both retail dispensary and on-site consumption licenses within their jurisdiction by opting out. And the town must act no later than December 31st of this year, subject to permissive referendum governed by Section 24 of the Municipal Home Rule Law. So with the deadline to opt out quickly approaching, I would urge the town to take a prudent approach by, at least for now, prohibiting marijuana establishments until more comprehensive research and regulation are available. I've spent a lot of time on the issue since taking office. There's a lot of information from states that have legalized marijuana, such as Colorado and California. In fact, the recent Rocky Mountain study from Colorado paints a very troubling picture. As a result, I've drafted several amendments to the poorly drafted MRTA designed to strengthen the law to accomplish several important goals. One, to protect young people from starting to smoke through vape diversion programs and pot diversion programs in our schools. Two, to provide for potency levels. And three, to protect motorists by changing the driving while impaired laws and to allow for roadside swab tests. Regardless of how you feel about the law, there are many questions that remain unanswered. And my belief is that there's not enough information. I just found out today that the appointments were just finalized for the so-called Cannabis Control Board. So I believe it's simply too soon to tell how the MRTA will be implemented and the impact it will have on our kids and on our community. As such, I believe the wait and see approach will afford the town to see how the new law will be implemented and how it's working in other municipalities on Long Island, and to be able to review the data and implement your own local laws that you deem necessary. Moreover, these measures can always be repealed and amended down the road if the need arises by later opting back in. But the town must opt out by 12/31 of this year, or you lose the opportunity to do so. So I'm happy to discuss any aspect of the MRTA with any of the board. call me. You can all reach me at my district office. Some of you have my cell phone number. But my district office number is 631-261-4151. And I really appreciate the time and your attention.
Senator, thank you very much, and we will be contacting you to obtain some information on the research that you've described this afternoon.
My pleasure, Supervisor.
Any questions by the board? Okay,
Thank you.
Senator, thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
You too.
Cole, do we have any other speakers?
No, I don't. I'll give it another second if there are any last minute folks. I know we had somebody jump on the call just a second ago, so I'll give them a second in case they want to raise their hand. Again, if you can't find the raise your hand function, just put your name in the chat function and I'll call on you. I'll give them a second. Okay, I think we're in the clear.
Okay, in that case, I will move to close the hearing.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilman Lohman.
Yes.
Okay, we have on the consent agenda, controller numbers 1 to 8, and resolutions, we have the minutes and one other resolution.
Okay, is there anyone on the board that wishes to remove any resolutions from the consent agenda?
No.
Okay, Mr. Clerk, roll call.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to issue a CEQA negative declaration determination of non-significance in the matter of the application for transfer of density flow rights from Federal Realty Investment Trust.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the town clerk to advertise for bid number 2185, steel stock.
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Award the following bids and authorize the purchase of associated goods and services. Bid 2164, annual contract for the planting of street trees to Northport Tree Company. And bid 2167 for animal shelter supplies to Lawrence Laboratories doing business as Total Pet Care and the Barn Pet Food and Supplies.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to approve the following. An appointment of Henry Charles Hoffman as a member of the Board of Assessment and his term of office commencing October 1st through September 30th, 2026. Ratification of the execution by the town supervisor of a stipulation of settlement in lieu of a Section 75 proceeding against employee 2599 on a form approved by the town attorney. Amendment to Resolution 2021-745 adopted on August 24th to add alternate number 2 and further authorize the supervisor to sign an agreement on a form approved by the town attorney. Extension of bid 1993, annual supply bid for truck parts and supplies with Dependable Repair Incorporated, Interstate Batteries, Moreland Hose and Belting, and Vehicle Maintenance Program. Extension of bid 1989, annual supply bid for janitorial supplies with Amity Vacuum for categories 1 and 2 only. A sole source purchase of traffic sign printing equipment from Beacon Graphics. The Highway Department to purchase an asphalt patch trailer from Sinline Pavement Management Group. The last is an amendment to the 2021 Highway Road Program to add School Street in St. James.
Councilman Lohman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The next two resolutions are for the town board to issue a written consistency determination pursuant to chapter 151 of the town code, that application 2021-14 from Daniel Govitz and application 2021-06 from Marcelo Garcia are consistent with the local water revitalization plan, subject to conditions as stated in a memorandum from the town planning director.
Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
The town board to authorize the acceptance of the following. Accept a donation of $50 from the Kings Park Central School District Heritage Museum for replacement of a damaged legend lore marker, and further authorize the controller to increase the affected general ledger accounts. Accept ARC Insurance Company performance bond in the amount of $27,188.50 and a bank check in the amount of $1,000 posted by Desiree and Vincent Federico for a subdivision known as 1190 Vanny Estates. Accept the letter from Edward R. Wareheim, Town Supervisor and Chief Financial Officer, regarding municipal service facility financial assurance, and the report by FPM Group dated September 2021, entitled Municipal Service Facility Phase 2, Cell 6, Financial Insurance Update for Fiscal Year 2020, and to direct the town clerk to enter both documents into the official operating record of the Municipal Service Facility Phase 2, Cell 6 landfill. Accept the proposal from L.K. McLean Associates to provide professional engineering services in connection with mandated biennial compliance reporting associated with the town's accepted New York State Department of Environment and Conservation Local Solid Waste Management Plan at a cost not to exceed $19,470, and further authorize the supervisor to execute an agreement on a form approved by the town attorney.
Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Authorize the supervisor to execute the following resolutions on a form approved by the town attorney. An agreement with Cataldo Grasso Architects to provide professional architectural services for the renovations to an existing building at Long Beach Town Park for the purpose of creating a Bay Constable office at a cost not to exceed $33,000. A one-year extension of an agreement with the Village of Nisququag for the use of the Edward Mancuska Fire Training Center for the purpose of training and matters of mutual concern for the town of Smithtown. An agreement with Pamela Kissenden, nurse practitioner, to provide services to the town as a nurse practitioner on staff for Horizons Counseling and Education Center. And the last is a side letter of agreement between the Smithtown Administrative Guild and the town of Smithtown regarding the designation of Joseph Binowitz as acting director of the Horizons Counseling and Education Center.
Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
Approve a settlement per the recommendation of the town attorney with Jenna Castoro for $7,400.42.
Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
yes,
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes.
And the last item are personnel resolutions, number 1 to 10, as described on the agenda.
Councilman Loman,
Yes.
Councilwoman Inzarella,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
yes.
Supervisor Wareheim.
Yes. That concludes resolutions. We will move to the public portion for comment. Nicole, do we have anyone out there that wishes to comment? Nicole, do we have anyone that wants to comment on any town matter?
We lost her sound, but she's chatting to everybody, asking if there's anyone that wishes to be heard.
Okay.
That went out at 2:30.
Can you hear me okay?
Now we can.
We can now.
I changed the speakers at last minute. No, I'm sorry. There's no one who wishes to be heard.
Okay, in that case, I will move to close the meeting.
Second.
Supervisor Wareheim,
Yes.
Councilman McCarthy,
Yes.
Councilwoman Noack,
Yes.
Councilwoman Zarella,
Yes.
Councilman Loman.
Yes. Thank you, everybody.